KTVU's Tom Vakar here now with details of what landlords and renters can expect.
Well, it is another protective step for renters, but it's not going to be the final one, not by a long shot, because the pandemic keeps raging on. Both houses of the state legislature passed a bill that will extend California's eviction moratorium through the end of June. The governor is almost certain to sign it.
It needs to be signed into law for no other reason than the fact that the eviction moratorium that is currently in place is set to expire in just a few days.
$2.6 billion for funding came from the recent federal stimulus package. While many tenants have not been impacted financially by the pandemic, a huge number of renters surely have, says Lupe Areola, executive director of the state advocacy organization Tenants Together.
About 25% of tenants were paying over 50% of their income in rent pre-pandemic.
Landlords will receive up to 80% of back rent accumulated from April 2020. To participate, landlords must waive the remaining 20% and not pursue evictions. The incentive? If landlords don't agree, the state will only pay 25% of unpaid rent, not 80%. Nonetheless, some landlords will evict.
A landlord who may be looking already to evict a long-term tenant or to evict somebody who lives in a rent-controlled jurisdiction, could use this as a pretext.
The biggest concern, a tsunami of claims.
Getting this money out, getting it out to the right people, making sure it gets out without any fraud or other concerns, and making sure that people get their questions answered.
A bill by Senator Nancy Skinner will establish a multilingual call center for landlords and tenants to assure those without internet service can be served.
To basically keep people housed so that we can get through this pandemic without making it worse.
Tenants Together advises if tenants do get an eviction notice, do not leave without first getting advice from a tenant group or legal aid, because you do still have rights. Tom Vakar, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Tom, it's such an interesting question because you can totally see from a tenant standpoint how frightening it is to be evicted, especially when you have no income. At the same time, the owners of the buildings also have bills to pay.
They do have bills to pay, but consider this. If you owned a restaurant or if you owned a salon or something like that, wouldn't you prefer to get 80% of your income, seeing what's happened in the pandemic, as opposed to just 20% or 25%? Wouldn't you like to get that kind of a payback? Well, they don't get it, but guess what? These guys will.
It does seem like a win-win for landlords, at least getting 80%, and the people who rent get to stay in their homes. Tom Vakar live for us tonight. Tom, thank you.